Yossi, welcome to the news building.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for having me.
Just to sort of briefly summarise your career, you've spent 38 years as a member of Mossad. You rose up through the ranks to the director eventually from 2016 to 2021. You're also Mr. Netanyahu's national security advisor for some years. Perhaps you could just give us a sense of what life is like as a real-life spy. So when in your early 20s you started going off on these international operations, what might a typical operation be like?
Oh, there isn't something like we can call a typical operation. I mean, every operation is a kind of a different stage, like in a different theater. And yes, I've been running operations from the age of 24 or so, internationally. I was working all the time abroad in a fairly young age. I loved it, by the way. I got addicted to it. I mean, this is part of the problems, I mean, of being a spy. I mean, you like what you do a lot. I mean, this is a very interesting way to spend your career. And operation is an operation that cannot be eventually copying or doubling, I mean, one from the other. I mean, this is nothing that you do again and again and again. Each operation is a different scene, it's a different scenario, it's a different theater, it's a different stage, different country, different culture, different languages, different combination of languages, different combination of teams. I mean, every operation is eventually kind of a different thing. It's a creation, I would say, of its own. And that's the beauty about that.
But usually you'll have a cover story of some kind and you'll be deceiving people, I suppose.
Well, deceiving, I'm not sure if this is the right way to do that. I mean, but you do create friends while working undercover. That's maybe a better way to do it. It's not a deception. I mean, we don't call that. I mean, we call them targets because they are. And if there is someone that I have to recruit, I would create a kind of a very deep cover story for myself. If I'm working with a team, the team has to have a cover story. I mean, to work together with a given object or a target, and then we have to achieve the mission. The mission would be to go into his heart and mind and to recruit the guy. I mean, so he will do what we need him, or practically that he will tell us, okay, the secrets that he holds, and that's the mission that we hold.
So we've spoken a bit about what it's like to be a personal agent out there, but Mossad's also known for pulling off incredibly daring and impressive operations behind enemy lines. One that comes to mind immediately is the September 2024 pager attack. And I understand that many years went into the planning of that and that you were personally involved in that. Would that be right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a bit more about how you planned that and how you pulled that off, if you're able to say?
As much as I can say, of course. Well, the thing is that when you have to penetrate behind the enemy lines, as you correctly said, there are many ways to do that. It's not only being there physically. I mean, you have to do something, as I clarified before, that has to be achieved. With these kind of organizations, we had to achieve several different things. One, we had to know what we call proper intelligence. This is what we have to know. I want to know what the enemy is planning for me. What does he have? Number two, I want to know where is he? Where is the enemy? Okay, like locations are super important. And the third layer is if I know what they do, if I know where they do it, now I want to disrupt it. So the decision to disrupt the enemy's capabilities is part of what we have entered with Hezbollah, or against Hezbollah, is the supply chain. We've learned that they are buying some stuff abroad. I mean, we've learned their methods of buying things abroad. I mean, Hezbollah, like a terror organization, cannot be clearly, openly, go into whatever, Amazon and buy some stuff, or going to Boots and take what it needs, right? They have to have different methods that will eventually cover their stories in front of the world so they can buy what they really need. We've learned all that. Looking at this, we said, why don't we be part of their supply chain? And the pages were eventually part of that.
I mean, when that idea was pitched, it sounds pretty insane. You know, let's tap into the supply chain of Hezbollah and make them buy weapons that are eventually going to.
They're not
destroy.
weapons.
Not weapons.
They're not weapons. They're pagers. Yeah. And walkie-talkies and other elements that we've sold. They're never weapons.
Okay.
We never sold weapons to Hezbollah. Not that we couldn't, but we don't do that. I mean, they've received, more than enough from, unfortunately, Iran. But that was no weapons. I mean, that was pagers or walkie-talkies or other elements that we've sold them. So to know either of the three layers that I've discussed already. I mean, one is to know. We need intelligence. Listen, hear, intercept, vision. I mean, we need to know. Number two is where are they? What do they do? So I need locators inside the kind of an equipment. And then if I have decided to, and I think that the elements could be treated the same way or in a way that could be disrupting the enemy's capabilities, I will eventually use it as the pagers had been used.
Having you here, former director of Mossad, I have to ask, what went so wrong in terms of intelligence that allowed October the 7th to happen?
Everything. Everything that you can imagine. The first line of defense is the one that you're not aware of as a citizen. Okay, this is the intelligence line of defense. We are there to make sure that you will be protected. We are there to make sure that we know what the enemy is planning for us on daily basis or on hour after hour basis, okay? Year over year, year after year. I mean, we are there to make sure that we know if there is an enemy down there that is planning something bad for our country or for our citizens. It could be a nuclear activity or a long-range missile activity or precision-guided rockets activity or transmission of weapons to the hands of terror organizations like in the Middle East or terror activity properly. You have to invest a lot in order to get this kind of intelligence. It's nothing that it's going to be published, okay? It's nothing that the enemy is going to give it, I mean, for a goodwill to you. The opposite. The enemy is trying to hide his willingness. The enemy is trying to hide his motivations from you. The enemy is trying to decoy what he really does, right? He's trying to show you something else that you will be, or it will be perceived as the truth. So you have to, in a way, you have to take off all masks and all shields that he is putting around his secrets to penetrate inside it, to take the heart of the truth. And that was not the case in Gaza. And when the first line of defense collapses, okay, this is when the enemy can do whatever he wants to surprise you. And this is exactly what has happened. And I think that it was not a small operation. There were many, many thousands who knew about the exact timing on that devastating Saturday morning, right, on October 7th. 1,500 terrorists only. Think about their logistics, the communication system, the Toyotas, the Jeeps, the cars, the timing, the cell phones. I mean, it's a big operation, right? I've never conducted an operation with 1,500 people. Not at the same time. That's a small, brigade. So many people knew about that. And the fact that we hadn't learned about it in advance, prior to their attack, is a huge failure. And I can't really explain that.
What about Trump? Do you think that he is uniquely positioned as an American president to bring about peace?
Absolutely, yes.
By
the way, about Trump administration, I mean, we can, if we want to discuss or to describe what has happened already with peace treaties, I mean, look how many peace treaties did he sign? How many? Many, right? And now he's signed the fifth one. I think the one that like we Israelis were involved are, of course, the UAE on top of it, and then Bahrainis and Sudan and Morocco. I mean, 4 peace treaties were signed under Trump's administration, and just a few weeks ago, he signed another one with Azerbaijan and Armenia, right? It's kind of a reconciliation of these two nations that have fought very deadly battles, I mean, one against each other because of Nagorno-Karabakh and all these areas that you probably remember. And he created another peace treaty in between these two nations. So I think that since he's using the sword, okay, as well as the feast, as well as he's using his capacities to negotiate or to mitigate enemies, that brought him to the position to sign probably a 4 and a 4.5 peace treaties. And I think that he can do even more. I mean, we have more than 3 years with him at the White House, and I think that I am expecting to see more peace treaties happening in the Middle East, maybe the world.
Okay.
under Trump's administration.
So he can bring peace treaties to the Middle East within those.
You know, it will be probably brought by pieces. It's not like a whole deal because each country has its own culture, abilities, motivations, and they're different. But if you'll ask what is the next jewel of the crown, probably would be the Saudi Arabia deal that I'm expecting to be signed immediately after the war will be over.
Okay. And if there are 100 Hamas fighters left in Gaza City, will you still go?
I'll find it for you.
You'll find them.
Okay.
Even if with every strike.
You know that there is a big question. Will you join us?
You're asking
will
me?
you join? Yeah, not you, Patrick.
Okay.
I mean, you're not. I don't think you fit. But will you, UK, join us? Will you? Why did you do that? I mean, against the same size of organization that we call ISIS. How many countries were there? Do you know? I'll tell you. Over 70. President Obama said that's a risk at the Levant, like the region between Syria and Iraq. And 74 countries fought together to defeat one terror organization. How many armies are fighting Hamas with us? None. Why? Why don't you join us? I mean, you've joined the war against Afghanistan, right? At the time. You were there, I mean, British were, my counterparts, MI6, everybody helped, okay, to defeat another terror organization that they called the Taliban, right? Where are you now? Why don't you join us? You're invited, by the way, by me. I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, please do. But unfortunately, this is not the case. So the State of Israel is doing the world's job sometimes alone.
The most obvious side is the pro-Palestinian side. So hundreds of thousands of people take to the streets regularly for pro-Palestinian protests. They claim that Israel is bringing atrocities on the people in Gaza. Their sort of the main accusation is that the level of destruction, death, suffering is not justifiable, even if there are sort of war aims that are yet to be completed. And lots of people in this country have made that almost part of their identity. So I want to know how you'd respond to those people. Are they wrong? If so, why are they wrong? Is it justifiable? And what are they not seeing? Okay,
I think that the war that Israel conducts as we speak is just. This is the absolute right thing that we have to do. Intentionally, we do not kill citizens. Intentionally, we do not starve anyone. Intentionally, we're taking care of the Gazan people. I mean, and I'm criticized in Israel for doing it, like trying to, to support them financially. I mean, bringing money from donors and then from the Qataris too sometime. Why is it that we did that? Because we do care about the Gazan people. We did care about the Gazan people. So I know that criticism is all over there.
You don't care anymore? Sorry.
I'm sorry?
You did care, but you don't care anymore?
I'm not part of it anymore.
Okay.
But the State of Israel is. I mean, hundreds of thousands of trucks are going into Gaza every day. But you have to remember, I mean, what the Israelis saw on October 7th is something different than what we saw in the past. That was not a kind of an operation like a terror activity, which is never small. It's always terrible to have. But that was a kind of a huge operation against the State of Israel, risking thousands of citizens, and thousands of them were killed and butchered, babies included, burned in the beds, been raped. Okay, I mean, the atrocities that we've seen, are from a different scale. So I think that the reaction that a normal country like ours, and we are a normal country, and our democracy is the highest in the world, definitely in the region, is just. I mean, we have to react to the atrocities, and we have to react to what has happened on the other side of the border, and this is what we did, and we still do. Demonstrators will demonstrate if Israel will conduct it rightly or wrongly. Demonstrators will be there on the streets because of the BDS, because of others that have this kind of thinking or will that the State of Israel will cease to exist. All right? And this is part of their agenda. They're using, these messages, to make sure that you or others will join them too. And in some cases, unfortunately, you did. And this is something that I can't accept. I strongly know that Israel is keeping on a very high level the international law to make sure that we do not hit intentionally or even not intentionally as much as we can any Gazan civilian which is done there. But of course, I mean, the type of war that we conduct is harder. It is not something that you can even imagine when you have terrorists living together with kids and babies in kindergartens, UN facilities, hospitals, clinics, and any other thing. I mean, they just conquered every single house, I mean, in the region to create a kind of a terror activity in within. So it's hard to do, but I know for sure that the State of Israel is doing its best to make sure that the Gazan people will not be hurt.